Question for the group. Have you guys noticed that service at like maybe restaurants that you typically would frequent, or maybe it's other shops, stores, have you guys noticed that customer service is just really diminished in the past 5 years? Ever since that whole 2020 thing went down, everywhere you go is just worse than it was before. Like, the food doesn't taste the same. I guess I'll complain about a restaurant in particular. I'm not gonna name the name. I still like the restaurant. I like the people that own the restaurant. Amber and I and the kids, we've been going there forever, several decades. I mean, the place has just been around for a really, really long time, and normally you have everything is consistent. They have excellent service, they have excellent food, but ever since 2020, it's diminished. The level of service is kind of diminished, not from the owners or anything else. I just think they have a high amount of turnover, so it's just a bunch of new people. I imagine that the kitchen staff is just a rotating collection of people. So I'm just wondering, have all of you noticed the same thing, like wherever you live, if you go out? And I'm talking like even fast food restaurants, nicer sit-down restaurants. Have you guys noticed the same thing wherever you are? And what do you guys think it is? Is it all just a result of inflation kind of forcing people to seek different jobs, or maybe just give up on working altogether because, everything has increased other than salaries? Because I know a lot of these like restaurant positions are still paying close to the same that they were before, except for, I don't know if that's really a legitimate potential explanation, because even for wait staff, I mean, you're making tips based off of whatever you're selling, and if you're providing good service, most of the time you're going to get decent tips, and you can make a legitimate living just on tips alone. So I'm not sure if that's what it is, but I'm just curious if you all are noticing the same thing happening in the areas that you live in. We just went to that restaurant that I was referring to, that I was talking about. We just went, and I always give a lot of grace. I've worked in restaurants. I know how demanding of a job it can be. I know it's exhausting. I know you deal with customers that can be big, giant pains in the butt. So I get all of that, and I act accordingly. I mean, I understand that it's rough. I understand that sometimes you're going to have an off day. I understand that you can't control all of the conditions. You can't control what's happening in the kitchen and everything else. But today was just exceptionally poor. And I didn't say anything. I mean, I still tipped the poor girl almost 20%. I didn't give her 20% because Amber said, "Do not give her 20%." It's like, well, I've worked in restaurants. I understand it's difficult. It's a lot of work. So I still tipped her very well. She got like 19.5%. So, but it wasn't 20, because I didn't want to can't upset the missus. Anyway, I forgot where I was going. Oh yeah. I remember now. So here in New Mexico, if you eat New Mexican food, so like enchiladas, beans, rice, all this other stuff, and here in New Mexico, you typically will get sopapillas. So if you're at a good New Mexican restaurant, you will get sopapillas with your meal. Well, many times you will get sopapillas after your meal, because basically a sopapilla is a deep fried bread that's kind of puffs up, and then you can put your honey in it, and so it's really more of like a dessert, if you will. I mean, at least that's how people will typically consume the sopapilla, is more of a dessert. So today at this place, whose name we shall not mention, the girl, after we were waiting forever, she she didn't refill our chips and salsa. That's also a customary thing, especially if food is really slow to come out of the kitchen. You just keep feeding your people chips and salsa. Anyway, so we didn't get chips and salsa refilled. Quite frankly, she never came back over to the table. But anyway, and it was slow. So let me just preface all of this by saying there was us and maybe 2 or 3 other tables in there. So we got there before the dinner rush. So they weren't busy. Took forever. She didn't come back over. Anyway, so we're sitting there waiting for a while for our food, and we had baby Kai with us, and we ordered him some pinto beans. He's in his love of pinto beans phase, which is awesome. I also love pinto beans. So we were hoping that, it's just beans, and beans are pre-made, so maybe they could just kind of scoop them up and bring them, so then that way we can get the baby eating so he can enjoy himself and not get frustrated, because he was also hungry. So after waiting probably 15 minutes, this girl walks over, or waitress, walks over with a plate of sopapillas, which is just bizarre, because she didn't have any of our other food, still didn't have the beans. And she just sets down this plate of sopapillas, which is just like, it's just interesting. I think if you're from New Mexico, you're gonna understand and you're gonna agree. Okay, that's kind of an interesting move. It's a very bold move you made there. What was her name? Giselle. Very bold move, Giselle. So she drops off this plate of sopapillas, which the way that you would typically eat the sopapillas, you guys are gonna get tired of me. I'm just gonna go on and on about the sopapillas. Okay, so they're deep fried, and they're puffy, and they're delicious, and you eat them with honey, and you consume the sopapilla while they're still warm. Like at some places you can get like a honey cinnamon butter that you will spread on the sopapilla, and because the sopapilla is still hot, it'll just turn into some melty, gooey deliciousness. So anyway, we have our plate of sopapillas just dying on our table, because it's like, okay, so we're not going to eat sopapillas ahead of eating the regular food that we were trying to consume. And our regular plates didn't come for like another 10 minutes. And so that just inspired this whole idea of this conversation around what has happened to these places. Like, I just don't get it. Especially when you're slower. Like, I could see if it's super busy, yeah, it gets rough and the kitchen gets backed up, and maybe a plate takes forever. If you have some crappy people on the line in the kitchen, your food can take 45 minutes or maybe an hour to come out. And I understand that when they're slammed, when it's super busy, but when there's a handful of people in there, like it was us, and then one other table sat down and ordered food right around the same time. Well, actually a little bit after us. And it's just, I don't know. Anyway, back to the original question for the group. Have you guys noticed that this is happening in your area, wherever you live? If so, well, actually, either way, if you have or you haven't, please leave a comment down below. Let me know. I am curious to know what is happening to everything in this country that I love. Anyway, hope you're all having a fantastic weekend, and we will talk to you all tomorrow.